Okay, well here we are in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. I have Touch Portal running on my main machine, my main PC, and also running on the Samsung tablet here. And we're at Nice Airport at the moment in an EasyJet A320. It's all powered down and cold and dark. Now on my first page I have my views page here, my different camera views on here, and again we can toggle between screens here. If I just go up here, make sure we're on here, so we can go with our pilot view. I just need to toggle that. That's it, pilot view, and then our main instrument view, the Autopilot or MCP, and mid CDUs, and lower CDUs, the FMC. We've got throttle views, spoilers and flap views, got our overhead view, and we've got fixed camera views as well, requesting fuel, requesting pushback, and our checklist. Now if we stay on our overhead view for a moment, and I'll just go to our overhead page on the tablet here. We've got master battery, ground power, fuel pumps, all these APUs. Currently these are not functioning because there are no key bindings for them as yet. If I press the master battery, something happened, but not what was meant to happen. It didn't turn on our battery switches. Ground power is not selectable. Our fuel pumps do not select. Neither does our APUs until we get the key bindings. But they're there for the future. There's a lot of add-ons, a lot of clever people out there that are writing add-ons to get various items that don't work on the standard version, the A320, working. So, but we do have things like our beacon light. You can see that's come on, toggled on. Strobe light will come on. Our nav light, that's functioning. Taxi lights and landing lights, they all function. I'm going to just quickly turn on our external power. So I'm going to try that master battery again, but I'm sure that doesn't function. No. So we'll turn on our batteries. Again, the seat belts and chimes don't work on here at the moment because there's no key bindings for them. But in the third party add-on, we can actually select those, whereas they don't function in the standard version. Okay. Same with the IRSs. At the moment I've put switches on here on the touchpad for the IRSs, but they're not functioning. But they do function on this at the moment. All set to nav, so they will lock on once they've actually logged onto the GPS link on there. Okay, so we do have other functions on here, the pitot heat, window heat and anti-ice, these all work. The engine bleed valves at the moment still don't work, but we have an auto engine start and auto engine stop, which when you use these functions, they'll turn on the fuel pumps for you. They'll also open the bleed valves and set everything working to get the engines running automatically. Once we have the key bindings for them, it'd be great. We can set them in here and you'll have far more control over everything. So let's power up our engines, and we'll have a look at the other versions on there. So if we go to engine auto start, and if we go back to our views panel and have a look at our CDUs, we'll see that engine 1 is starting already. As soon as engine 1 is stable, engine 2 will start automatically. And if we go up to some of our other views here, if we select our MCP view, and then I'm going to go to our Autopilot page on the touch screen, and here we'll be able to adjust our altitude. We've got reference altitude increase, you can see it's increasing, got decrease on there. We can turn our flight director switches on, turn our autopilot on and off. So the flight director's on, I'll turn the flight director off there. What else can we put on? Got autopilot master. There are some of these functions not working, but I'm not quite sure why. I'll get back to you as soon as I know. Approach hold works. Auto throttle, where's our auto throttle? Arm auto throttle, that's not functioning at the moment. Auto to toga, not working. Localizer's functioning. Vertical speed increase. These may well not work until we're actually in the air, so I'll check that out when we take off. And we go back to our views page. We'll take a look outside. There we are, you can see engine 2 is starting to spool up now, and you can see our beacon lights are flashing, our landing lights are on. Got some beautiful liveries here, so I'll leave a link in the description below as to where you can download these liveries. If we can try and request a fuel truck. Requested our fuel truck, again all using the touch tablet here. And as I say, you've got, with the Pro version of Touch Portal, you've got unlimited number of pages and icons, so it's well worth the $12.99 for the Pro version. Do recommend you go for that one. Not sure where this fuel truck is. If I just go to the overhead page again, just to prove to you that we can toggle our landing lights on and off, on, off, on, etc. And there we go. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments or any questions, don't forget to contact me. Use the comment section below, or I do have a Discord channel now. I'll leave a link to an invite of the Discord server in the description below. I'll try and link as well copies of all my templates for switches and the necessary key inputs you need as well. Again, thanks for watching TOGAtech. I'll catch you next time. Hi, I'm here to talk about a problem I came across with the new Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, which is all my control systems. Like I have a VRInsight control panel. None of it works with the new software at the moment. VRInsight do say that they're updating the drivers to work with the new aircraft, but in the meantime I have to rely on keyboard controls, which I must admit I'm not that keen on. So I was looking around trying to find some other alternative to this so that I can program some switches. Also there is FSU IPC version 7, which supposedly works with toggle switches, and that on the new Microsoft Flight Sim, but as yet I still haven't had any success with it. But I've come across this very simple solution. It's based on the Stream Deck system, but instead of using Stream Deck, I've got a piece of software called Touch Portal. Now if we just open up our browser here and we type in Touch Portal, and you can go on to their web page here, touchportal.com, and it's this piece of software, and what it does is it interfaces between a touch tablet of some form. You can use your mobile, you can use an iPad, you can use an Android style pad, and that, as long as it's got a touch screen, you can interface it with your main PC via Wi-Fi, and you can set up little icons that have keyboard commands programmed to them. So I'll come up with a little system here. If you go onto their website here, you can download the free version, which gives you just a couple of pages and a limited number of icons, or actual like buttons. The icons are the buttons. Or you can download the Pro version, which I think I paid about £13 for, and that gives you unlimited pages and unlimited buttons as well. So I've already downloaded this, but it's quite simple. Go on to touchportal.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. Download and install the software. You have to install it on your main PC and also your touch screen implement, be it an iPad or a Android style touch screen, or even your mobile phone. So you have to install the software on both devices. Once that's installed, we close this now. Once that's installed, if we open up Touch Portal on my main PC here, there it is. You'll get this screen here, which gives you actually 4 examples of what you can do with this. I've also added in some, as you can see here, landing gear, anti-ice, in preparation for setting up a control panel for my Airbus A320 on the new Microsoft Flight Sim. But it's very, very easy to use, and as I say, you do have to install it also on your touchpad. So I've installed it over here, as you can see down there and there on my, this is a Samsung pad. So if I open that up there, that should now interface with my main PC. So as you can see, what's on here, what's displayed on here now, is also what's displayed on the main PC here. It just replicates what's on there, and then you can just add buttons and they'll come up on your main display here. I'll just go through a couple of the quick functions. Over here you've got your grid settings. So here you've got a grid which is 8 by 4. So I have 8 icons across and 4 down. Now you can increase or decrease this, and as you do so the buttons will get smaller as you increase it, or get larger as you decrease it. And I don't know if you can catch that over here on the pad, they have altered size as well, so you can have a lot more on there. Now I wanted to try and come up with a system so that I can incorporate all the main functions of the A320 and use them, like use the overhead and various other controls, all the light panels and all that will be programmed onto this touchpad. So I won't have to remember to do Shift, Alt, G and all that lot. It will just be press on the one thing, like landing gear, boom, and that activates the landing gear. Now all of these can be programmed in here, but I'll just show you, we'll go for an instance, because I've drafted myself up a little diagram of how I want each page. I've actually got 4 pages. The main page is going to be all my camera views and requesting fuel, requesting pushback, etc. My second page is going to be my overhead, so I can start. Third page is going to be the autopilot controls, and the fourth page is going to be my radio and comms setup. So using that along with the keyboard control list that you get from FS 2020, we can start programming buttons. If I just show you a for instance, so if we have a look at the landing gear one that I've already done, on the side here you've got the type of application. So let's go with the right hand side first. This is the size of your button, 1 by 1, and then here you've got the box that says button text, so you can just type in here what do you want to call this button, as we said here, like landing gear. Here you can select the text color. Here you can set its justification, its position, so you can have it high up, in the middle, or down low. I'm going for the middle on this one. Here you can have it left justified, centered, or right justified. Go with center. You can add shadows to your texting. Come down a bit on here. Background color. You can select what you want, background color, and this setting box here gives you a shading. So you've got like a dark grey shading coming up here, and you can shade it from the bottom up, or from the right, or from the corner. So you can move the position of the shading as well. When you first do a new button, this bit here is ticked, and you can see you can't see anything because it's got transparent background. So always untick that to show your colouring, otherwise you won't see it. And then over here you've got your applications, so you can start an application, in which case you can tell it what application you want it to activate, so that will be an exe command. Batch files, run a shortcut, open a file, etc. You go down here. For our buttons we're using what's known as a virtual key press, so if we go over here, action virtual key press, click on that, then it will open up this window for you to enter in a virtual key press. Now with the landing gear, if you check your documentation that comes with FS 2020 landing gear, so it's just key press G. So on here we want this to toggle our landing gear, so we'll just select G, and that's it. And then if we come down here, you've got all the functions of your keyboard you can use on here. So that's done, and we just do add, and now that's added the key press G to this, and then you click save. I'm going to delete this because I've done 2 on here. So let's try and delete that. How do we delete that one? So we delete that action because we've already done it. Key press G, and then you click save, and that one's done. So now when you touch your landing gear on your touchpad here, it'll activate the landing gear in Microsoft Flight Sim, and that's it. So I'm going to work my way through now all of the controls I want to do, starting with our main page. So I'm actually going to delete this entire main page and start from scratch. So here we're going to delete all of this. So let's go back to that main screen, and if we right click, we can delete button, yes, delete button, yes, delete button. Let's just get rid of all of these, and then we're going to start a whole new page from scratch. So I designed myself a little template up in actually used Inkscape, just so I know how I wanted to set it out. Now I'm going to set my grid at 8 buttons by 4, because that comes up nicely on my tablet. And we'll start with our first button. So this is going to be my main page, so it says up there main. Okay, and look, I've set up 3 other pages. So I've got my main page, I've got Autopilot, Overhead, and our view controls here. But I'm actually going to rename all of these because they're all in the wrong order actually. So we'll go with our main one, which is going to have mainly my camera views on here. So my first button is going to be my pilot view. So I'll come over here, I'll just give you an example and then I'll take it offline and start doing them all. So I'm going to call this one pilot view, if I can type. Let's move that cursor. Sorry. Pilot view. Just come back on that, sorry. There we go, pilot view. I want that centered, and I'm going to give all my views, all my camera views, a blue background. So it's white writing. My background colour I want to be blue. So I'm going to pick a nice light blue. And the shading, I'm not going to have any shading on this, so I'm just going to pick the same colour. Now, as I say, this transparent background is ticked, so when you look at your preview, you can't see it, so you have to untick that, and there we have pilot view. So that's how we want it looking. And then we want to go to virtual key press, and now we need to enter the key press for pilot view, which is one of our preset views. So these are the key commands for my views. Now the pilot view I've got here is Control 0. So if we go down to our list, find the Control key. Number pad. I think you can just press it off the keyboard. Let me try that. So it's Control plus the 0 key. That's it. That's far easier than trying to find it on this here. So Control plus 0, and we press Add, and then Save. And that's our first button done. Pilot view, first button. Now the next one I'm doing is, let's do the left seat. This pilot view is slightly higher than that view. It actually raises the seat a little, so you can see a little bit more. So I'm going to call this pilot view up. Okay, so we just click new button. This is pilot view. In fact, because you want to be higher up when you're landing, so I'm going to call this pilot view landing. Okay, so that's our landing view we want. Again, white text, or you can change the colour of the text, centre justified. Background colour, we want the same blue as last time, Hopefully we get the same blue as that one. Same blue here, because we don't want it shaded. Again, untick the transparent. There we go. Pilot view for landing. That's all good. Now we're going to go over to this side and we're going to look for virtual key press. And then that higher view for the pilot is control key plus 1. So we do control key and then the 1. Add that and save. And that's our second button. Now I'm going to work my way through all of this. As I say, I'm putting what's that one? 8 across. I've got 32 buttons per page, and then I'll come back once I've done this page. I'll come back and show you how to add a second page. Okay, be back with you shortly. This one will take us a step back to our main. Then we've got our master battery. There's quite a few items on here that I couldn't find the key bindings to. However, they do function if you use a third-party add-on. There's been some very clever people that have written some add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and they now have various switches that didn't work in the standard edition now work, which includes the IRS buttons here, the chimes and the seatbelt buttons now work in the modified version. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below, so you can have a look about adding that to your standard version and you'll get these extra buttons. However, I haven't got any key bindings that I can add to these as yet, but more and more things are coming out as time goes on. So I've put these on here on this touch portal setup, so that in the future, as soon as I've got key bindings or there's ways of tagging a mouse macro to them, we can use these functions as well. On here again with the engine bleed valves and all that, I've just put in engine select, engine auto start and engine auto stop, which are standard keyboard functions in the standard version of Flight Sim. So those are programmed in on here. Pitot, window heat, anti-ice, these are all on here. Master avionics. Ones that don't work are the engine 1 and 2 bleed valves, the IRSs, seat belts and chimes. Anti-collision light isn't on there either. Ground power I can't select, but I've produced the icons ready for the future when I've got those control bindings. Then we go to, as you got here, go to Autopilot page. So we look at our Autopilot page. We've got go back to our previous page, or we go forward to our radio page. But on here we've got all of these functions already have key bindings for, so they've all been put in. So we've got our autopilot on and off, we've got our flight director, auto throttle arms, auto throttle to toga, vertical speed increase, decrease, etc. All of these functions are working in the standard version of Flight Sim. And then we created a radio page here, but I haven't added any of the icons onto it yet. But again, we'll set our grid size to 8x4, and then we'll be able to start putting in all our comms functions on this page here. Again, starting the first key we always start with is back to the previous page, and then the last key will either be going to a new page or going back to our main page. Okay, well, I hope that's clear. I don't know if there's anything else I haven't shown you. To add a new page, obviously you just click new here, and then you type in the page name, click OK, and that will generate a new page for you. Now, I think you are limited in the free version of Touch Portal. You're limited, I think, to 2 pages but if you upgrade to the Pro version, which is only about $12.99, you can get unlimited pages with unlimited icons. So it's a great idea to upgrade. I did it pretty much straight away because I knew I was going to use lots of functions. So as I say, I hope this has been informative. If you have any questions, don't forget to contact me. Leave a message in the comments below, and I'll leave a link to all my files I've used here, and a link to where you can download this Touch Portal program. Okay, thanks for watching.